Good morning, everybody. This is Charles Elbert here, getting ready to explain to you the constructivist method in teaching, especially in teaching mathematics. And hopefully, my camera will be able to pick up everything. I might have to do some adjustments to it, like bring this down a little bit so that I can bring my camera into focus. Okay. Let me see what we got. I don't want it to get hung up. I don't want it to fall apart either. So we'll see. And I might have to readjust the back of it so I can bring it forward a little bit more so that everyone can see exactly what I'm doing. Bring it forward some. Okay, there we go. Okay. You know, we've been taught about the constructivist method of teaching. The constructivist method of teaching is the belief system that holds that humans construe all knowledge in their minds by participants in certain experience rather than learning from a teacher. Piquet said this. The constructivist method in teaching has many benefits. Group use, cooperative work, learning through real life standards, visual format, mental models, global goals, problem solving, and critical thinking. Divergent thinking, student must think on their own and solve novel problems as they occur. I looked at that the fifth one, global models, problem solving on critical thinking. What is critical thinking? As mentioned, while critical thinking is accepted broadly as being educationally important, specific definitions are lacking. What is critical thinking? And what are critical thinking questions? Psychologist Robert Steinberg defined critical thinking broadly as, quote, Robert Steinberg defined critical thinking broadly as, quote, the mental processes, strategies, and representations people use to solve problems, making decisions, and learning new concepts. Robert Steinberg, critical thinking, its nature's measurement and improvements, and essays on the intellect. And Francis R. Link, Alexandria, VA, Associate for Supervision and Curriculum Development, 1985. Education professor Michael Strabin and philosopher Richard Paul defined it as the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synchronizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Common to these definitions and others is the idea that critical thinking is active rather than passive and is of a higher order and abstract nature. And that comes from how critical is critical thinking. And I will be submitting my references with my presentation on constructivist methods in teaching. Here's another thought on teaching and thinking, critical teaching. Teaching thinking skills and dispositions explicitly means focusing the lesson on the higher order skill or strategy to be taught. Naming the skill, defining the skill, or strategy to be taught. Naming the skill, defining the skill, modeling the skill, practicing, scaffolding the skill, and assessing the skill. Gage and Briggs, 1979, O'Toole and Ballard, 1993, comes from Hallelujah. Implementation of a school-wide approach to critical thinking instruction. Constructive in learning builds on the learned prior knowledge, and the approach is a constructive process. The student involves himself or herself in the process, hands-on and cognitive exercise to ensure self-regulated and self-diverse processing. Learning, therefore, is grounded in the context of the learners and fundamentally social processes. Learning is more than the acquisition of knowledge. It is a collaborative of ideas, social skills, and self-determination. Knowledge is learned by the student. You give them problems that are relevant to be learned. Use big concepts that are segmented or disjoint topics. Create situations that will reveal the learner's point of view, and use authentic assessments. Constructive learning is, I say, using higher order thinking, building on what you already know, and using new techniques or techniques that create analytical and critical thinking in the child at an early age. So I'm going to give you an example, a model of an aspect of critical thinking, hallelujah, called I keep saying that, I got to stop that. I get happy. Called thank you, Jesus. I keep forgetting the name of this model, but I will. It's called the Pivotal Product Model. And what we'll do is I'm going to combine a standard practice along with a values chart, and I'm going to use some values like I'm going to multiply 32 times 56. So I use the higher number. I'll use the 50 here and the 6. I use the 30 here and the 2. And now I multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. And I add 2 zeros. 30 times 6 is 180. 2 times 50 is 100. That's very relative simple. And 2 times 6 is 12. Now, I could do this by long addition or vertical addition, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it by, and then I'm going to check my numbers by looking at place values. What are in the ones? A 2. What are in the tens? 8 and 1 is 9. What are in the hundreds? 1 plus 1 is 200. Is a 2 rather. Excuse me. Is 2. No, excuse me. 1. That's wrong. 1 plus 5 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And in the thousands is 1. The answer would be 1,792. You got to come with the right instruments. You don't want your pen to dry out. 1,792. 2, let's check it again. 8 and 1 is 9. The hundredth, 5 and 1 is 6, and 1 is 7, and 1. So let's do here. We go here. We go 1,500 plus 180 is 0, 8, 6, and 1. 1,680. 112 is 100 plus 12 is 112. and 12. We can add them up. 2. 8 and 1 is 9. 6 and 1 is 7. And we bring down to 1. We have the same answer here as we have here. In the partial product method, it was quite simple. It shows me place values. It shows me the bigger whole versus the smaller whole. I take the numbers and break them down to whole numbers. 56, 50 plus 6. I take the 32, break down the whole number, 30 plus 2. And then I do the cross multiplication, and I come up with the answer 1,792. The constructivist method allows for the student to actually see his work unfold before him, and he has a better understanding of the process of multiplication. We could have also done it in the vertical way by multiplying. Hallelujah! I got 50. I keep saying that. Y'all don't get mad at me. 56 by 32. And I would have got the same answer. But with the constructivist method, in the partial product method model, I get to show them how it's broken out and how it's done. This is Charles Elbert here, live in his home, talking about the constructivist method. I hope this was informative and instructive to you, and I hope to see you soon in our class. Have a good day.